mean, there is so much more about this, but I think now I will switch to another couple of gods. It's a couple, it's the most powerful couple in Greek mythology, and the dynamics between this couple will tell you us more about the relationship between an husband and a wife, and what were the social dynamic between in a couple in ancient Greece. So it is this couple, it's Zeus and Hera. So this is the second pair of gods that I want to talk about. So Zeus and Hera were basically the most important gods of the Olympian generation. Zeus was the father of all the main gods, Apollo, Artemis, Athena, and in all this myth where there is Zeus and Hera, there is also a lot, this myth depicting this couple in a very conditioned way. They were always arguing, they always fighting. Hera, unlikely Athena, is a goddess who challenges Zeus. It's a goddess who challenges patriarchy. She tried to have some kind of political power, but unfortunately Zeus is more powerful, or her attempt to gain some kind of power are basically stopped by Zeus. There is just one myth that is really interesting. It's at some point Hera organized a revolt of the gods. Zeus discovered and he punished her. How he did it? Basically, she was hanging from the sky with golden chair to her arm and 2 anvils to her foot. So you have to imagine it is a poor Hera hanging with a chain to the sky, a 2 heavy anvil to her ankles. So that's how horrible was Zeus to Hera. And then the relationship, Hera, it's a very monogamous. She bare the kids, the offspring of Zeus. She was the mother of Ares, and Ares is the son of Zeus. She was the mother of Hebe, and Hebe was the daughter of Zeus. So she's a very monogamous, she's very loyal to Zeus. And instead, I think at this point, you may know that Zeus was philandering around. He had a lot of offsprings with everywhere, with everyone. The Heracles, Perseus, he transformed in all this form, shape for seducing women. So Zeus, it's not a loyal husband. Zeus, it's not committed to monogamous at all. So Hera has to kind of keep up with this in the marriage. So, and not only she is a faithful wife, but also she is subject to the power of Zeus. Here there is an example. This is from Iliad, book 1. So basically, the goddess Thetis, the mother of Achilles, went to Zeus and implored, beseech Zeus, and told him to help the Trojan so that Achilles can have revenge. Zeus assented and said, "Okay, I will help the Trojan so that Achilles will have a revenge over the Agamemnon." Hera, she's supporting the Greeks, so she doesn't like this. And there is this assembly of gods where Hera challenged. She's the one who challenged Zeus and say, what are you doing with Thetis? You are trying to interfere in the Trojan War. You should not help the Trojan. You should not interfere in this. So she's challenging Zeus. And that's what Zeus told, how Zeus addressed her. You bitch, you have your idea, nothing past you, but there is nothing you can do about it. Then you will only drift farther from my heart. If this I was thinking, I must like it. So look how then it's very abusive, I will say. Look how he addressed his wife in front of all the other gods. It's an assembly of gods. Shut up and sit down. Obey my word, or all the gods in Olympus will do you no good as I close in and lay upon you my powerful hands. This is a scene of domestic abuse in Mount Olympus, basically. So this is how Zeus treated Hera. And this is how probably Greek men treated their own wives. So that it's a typical, not typical, I think it was a very common situation in Greek household, this one. And look also here, Hera is frightening. So she sat in silence, curbing the impulse of her heart. So this is something else that women are required to do, curbing their impulse, obey, sit, don't talk. So this was what Greek women were basically dealing on a daily basis. So I repeat, the Greek society was a really horrific society for women. It was very misogynist. Scholars have studied this very contentious relationship between Zeus and Hera, looking at the historical fact. We know that the cult of Hera was completely independent from Zeus. Hera was a very powerful goddess. We have a lot remains of very magnificent temples from the 10th, 9th, even 8th century BC. The most famous is the temple of Argos, the temples of Samos, and in these temples, Hera was associated with fertility. So I repeat, there was no connection with Zeus. Zeus started to appear in Samos, for example, in the 7th century. This is the same, roughly the same periods of the Homer and the Hesiod. So it's in the 7th century that are all these patriarchal myths are trying to kind of subject this female goddess. It's in these periods that Hera became the wife, a consort of Zeus, and her cult was kind of subject to the one of Zeus. So again, scholars believe that Hera, these cults of Hera, are remnants of the matriarchal society that were in Greece. And then when these Indo-European arrived, they kind of subjected this ritual, this goddess, this cult to their own patriarchal myth and their own patriarchal cult. So this might explain why the myth depicted this couple always fighting, always arguing, because there were two different cults, two different deities that then were put together, they were associated, they created a family of Olympians subjecting the female goddess to the male god. So this is an explanation that I think it's very convincing. Also, there is another, the last myth about Zeus and Hera, it's about, I show you this myth of Athena was generated by Zeus without any help from a female partner. Well, in some myth, it seems that Hera was really mad at Zeus for procreating, for generating Athena without her help. So she also procreate offspring. According to some authors, she procreated, she gave birth without any male partner to Hephaestus, according to some myth, or to this monster, this snake dragon called Typhoon. So, but did you see the difference of both Zeus and Hera can procreate without the help of the other? But Zeus, the result of Zeus, it's Athena, one of the most important goddess, one powerful goddess. The result of Hera is a dragon, a snake-like creature, Typhoon, so a monster, or Hephaestus. Hephaestus, it's a really atypical god because it's the only god with a kind of physical deformity. So what Hera can create without Zeus is just monster and disabled kids. What Zeus generate without Hera, instead it's Athena. So did you see the difference in the Greek mind? I think this is really really interesting to see the different offspring that is two deities generate without the help of the opposite sex help, I will say. And what else? And then with this, I mean, with Zeus and Hera, we see out this role of male, female, where, but in Greek mythology, there were also characters